Well, hello, my name is Christy and I want to welcome you to the Profitable Community course, which is the companion piece for the Profitable Community Playbook. Now, I have been working on this training for a while, and about 4 years ago, I actually created a book or wrote a book called The Treasured Tribes because I recognized the value of building a very powerful community. And this all started about 16 years ago when I was in the mortgage industry and I knew I needed to find clients through networking. And so I got out there, I hustled, I was going to every event possible, I collected a ton of business cards, but you know what happened? I didn't really get much business. Yeah, I got a few leads here and there, but nothing ever really turned into clients. And so then I heard about the whole concept of a leads group or a referral group or an industry exclusive networking community. And I really thought that that was a genius idea, but I could not find a chapter to get into because back in that time, there were so many mortgage people out there and I couldn't find a chapter that had that category open. So what I did was I got some amazing women together and we started our very first group, and that group grew, and then that group divided into 2 groups, and then we had 3 groups and 4 groups, and the next thing you know, I had this amazing organization of women that were all supporting each other to success. And then eventually I made the hard decision to leave my full-time job and then make this my full-time job. And so my focus was only on building a community. My focus was not on generating revenue in any other way. It was just about bringing together an amazing group of women and allowing them to have the value of connecting with each other to grow their own businesses. And then on that journey, I ended up by starting a publishing company, and then I've started helping women become authors, either with their own book or a co-authored book, and that's been so much fun. I've met so many women and eventually started coaching them to really create their own irresistible brand. And so I had all of these things going, but nothing was actually put together. So I had a great community. I had a great community. I had a great business. I had another great business, but I wasn't leveraging my community to make money in my other businesses, and everything was very disjointed. And eventually I got in a situation where things had to change. I couldn't keep going on that path because the revenue wasn't connecting. I was working a ton of hours and I just wasn't feeling fulfilled because I felt very scattered. And so eventually I figured it out. I figured out the magic formula, how to take your community and actually utilize it and leverage it in multiple ways to support your core business and allow you to attract more clients instead of chasing them down, and allow you to gain more influence, income, and impact in the world because now you have a whole community of people working together to achieve a common goal. And it's not just referral partners and prospects and clients, it's just creating a community that is all of that and so much more. So over the course of the next 7 videos, I am going to go through the foundational steps of you making sure that you build your profitable community. So for today, what we're going to focus on is step number 1, which is building your strong foundation. Now, if you look in the playbook, you may recognize that some of these questions that I am having you fill out may seem very silly. Like, why do I need to write down some of that stuff? But you know what? You do. Because some of these silly things you may not have thought through all the way. Things like your legal entity, things like your website, things like your strengths, your weaknesses. All of those things are basically assets that you need to manage and take care of and utilize to their full potential. So when I see business owners struggling, when I see entrepreneurs struggling, these are some of the ways that I feel or that I've seen them have problems. And the number one reason is, or the number one problem that they have is that they don't necessarily think like a business owner, or I should say, they don't think like a male business owner. Because there are a ton of smart female business owners out there, and there's a lot of smart, profitable female business owners out there. But the majority of women, and you may be able to relate to me, but the majority of women have a hard time asking for money. They have a hard time asking for their worth. They have a hard time closing a sale because they don't want to ask for the sale, and they really feel that, well, if I help enough people, the money's going to come to me. Well, that is the mindset that I had for so many years. I helped so many people build their businesses, and I helped so many women just accomplish their goals, but I wasn't thinking like a profitable businesswoman. And I actually had one of my directors at the time, or back in the day when I first started out in the first 5 or 6 years, she kept yelling at me in a sense and telling me, you're giving everything away, Chrissy. You need to quit doing that. And no, you have to think like a bit. And she was very successful. She had her own family business. And so she always kept track of the bottom line. But me, I'm like, no, I'm going to help them. No, it's okay. It's all going to come back to me. And I totally believe in the law of reciprocity. But I also believe that you need to watch your bottom line. So you need to look at your profits. You need to keep track of your numbers. That is really, really important in business. The next problem I see is people don't tend to really take a good analysis of their strengths and their weaknesses, and they think that they have to do everything, regardless if you like it, regardless if you stink at it. You just have to do it all. And that is not true. You should not spend your time and energy on things that you are not good at, because it's just going to drain you. You're not going to serve your clients to the best of your ability, and you're going to feel drained in other areas of your business and not live up to your potential in the things that you really do like. So you need to really look at what you're good at. You need to just do the best you can to only do the things that are high revenue generating, that serve your clients to its capacity, and that serves you personally. So the next problem I see is that business owners and entrepreneurs think that they shouldn't outsource anything, or they think that they can't afford to. They're like, I'm not making enough money. I can't hire somebody. Well, I want to challenge you to think differently about that. Even if it's just hiring out somebody to do something for 5 hours a week. You can find somebody, a virtual assistant, for $15 an hour, and, spend X amount of money, maybe $100, budget in $100 every 2 weeks to hire somebody out. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you need to start out small and find the things that you shouldn't be doing or that don't really make you a lot of money, and then spend those hours on things that are bringing you a lot of money. Because if you can make $50 an hour and you could take tasks and hire out for $15 an hour, why not spend that time doing the things that are making you a ton of money? So then that way you can reinvest that money back into your business and keep hiring out more support, a bigger support team. I don't know if that made sense. So I encourage you to do that. You cannot afford not to do that. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you're going to see your business going to the next place. Okay, the next problem I see is we don't always recognize that our website has a purpose other than being a fancy online digital business card. Yes, you need to make sure you've got a great website, because people are going to vet you. They're going to check you out, make sure that you're a legitimate business, make sure that you've got testimonials on your website, their contact information, your about page. And just a side note, your about page is the second most highly trafficked page on your website, and that page should have your story on it. If it doesn't have your story, you are not taking advantage of that connection that you can have with your potential clients. So let's get back to your website. So not only should your website be an amazing digital business card, but it should be more than that. You should have a process on your website to be able to attract and bring in people that can opt into your list. And we're going to talk about list building further in the training, but I want you to recognize the fact if you don't have an opt-in process on your website, you need to do something to make that change. And the next problem is that business owners and entrepreneurs don't always have really specific and measurable goals. They may know what they want and they may make some goals, but they're not making goals in a way that they're tracking them, that they're measuring them, that they're analyzing them and remaking their goals. And what happens is they look back 1 or 2 or 3 years later and they realize that they've not made the progress that they really knew that they could. So I encourage you to make smart, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely goals. Set a time frame and make sure that they happen. And if they don't happen, that's okay. You're still farther along than you were before then. And so I've shown you a lot of problems. One problem I didn't point out was you have to make sure that you're clear on your legal entity and you've got that legal support in everything you do. Because if you don't have a good foundation there, you could have so many bad things happen with you. It's kind of like you're building your business on quicksand, and you don't want that to happen, because at any point you could start sinking, and then it's really, really hard and very expensive to get out of that. So what is the solution? I've given you a ton of problems, and I've given you a ton of exercises to do in the playbook. But the solution is for you to simply work on strengthening the foundation of your business. Yes, that's it. Do some of these things, and then I will see you on the next training where we're going to be diving into your profitable business model. So that's all I have for today, and I will see you in the next training. Bye-bye for now. Hello, welcome. I am Christy, and my goal in these short little trainings is to make sure that I am walking hand in hand with you as you go through the Profitable Community Playbook. You should have already watched the first training of this module, and that was more about principles and mindset, reasons why. And what I'm going to be focusing on is the specific lessons that I have written out in the different steps of the playbook. And so today in step 1, we're focusing on the foundation of your business. And you may think that all of these questions are kind of silly, or that they're not really necessary for you to write out. But let me just encourage you to go through the steps and write them out. Because if you kind of just have these various pieces in your head and you don't necessarily put a lot of thought into making sure they're a reality, then you are going to be missing out on some critical steps of your business, and the foundation of your business isn't really going to be as strong as it should be. So you want to make sure that you've got the legal entity exactly the way it should be for your business, whether you're a LLC or a corporation, an S Corp, whatever that may be. You don't want to start moving forward without that legal entity in place. If you need to trademark anything or copyright anything specifically, make sure you take that extra step to make that happen. If you're using a business phone number, make sure that I've got a business line and a personal line, and they both actually go to my cell phone, but I know when a number comes in, if it's a business call or a personal call, and I'm really, really am good about not working in the weekends or taking business calls after hours, because what that does is it gets your clients to not value the boundaries that you have set up for your life. And if you want to have a freedom lifestyle where you're able to enjoy life, you need to do that in a way that is completely separate from your business. I know for me, as an entrepreneur, I work in my house. It's sacred time for me on the weekends to completely disconnect. Now, I do work sometimes on Saturdays because I choose to, but it's not because my client will demand that, or it's not because my client feels that they can pick up the phone and call me anytime they want, because that's just going to stress me out, and it will stress you out, and it won't allow you to have that freedom that you need. So make sure you have a business phone number, make sure you have a business email, not, Christy@gmail.com or Christy123@gmail.com. make sure you have a business email that's dedicated just for business uses, and that when you give that out, people recognize that as a really real legitimate business email address. Make sure you've got your website that's, a logical website for your business. I do encourage anybody that's building a profitable business that they also recognize that they themselves are the face of their business. So I would encourage you to also secure the domain of your name. Now, you don't have to build a website on it necessarily right now, but you do want to secure it, hang on to it. You can create a forwarder. So if anybody goes to that website, it will be redirected to your primary website. But this way, nobody else can take it. You can use it in the future. Maybe you're going to be a speaker, have a book, create a coaching program. And if you've got your name secured, now you don't have to worry about any future plans that you have. You'll already be taken care of. With your primary website, you want to make sure you have an opt-in, and we will talk about that more specifically in the future. And then the rest of the exercises are for you to answer because it helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. If you struggle in a certain area in your business or in life, and you are able to identify what those problems are, you're able to focus the majority of your efforts on the things that you're good at, and then hire in the people that you feel you need support with. And then also, if you have an area in your business that you keep struggling with and you're not able to overcome it, it will hopefully help you identify that this is a problem you need help with, and that you can't fix it yourself. And if you could, you already would have. If you love your business and you love working with your clients and you're just rolling along, but you're stressed because you're not making enough money, and you keep trying, and you figure if you keep trying harder, it's going to work. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to get so frustrated and so broke that you're going to be in a place where you're going to have to get help. And then when you're in that place, you most likely will not have a lot of options because you're already going to be broke and you're already going to be stressed out. And so what I encourage you to do is identify these stuck places, get the support you need to get out of those stuck places, so that way you can run ahead and move forward in the areas that you're supposed to be moving forward in. And then accomplishing your goals. Yes, we need SMART goals. We need to make sure they're trackable, measurable, accountable, all of the pieces that you need to set very specific goals. But sometimes we need to set big goals, like these dream goals, and put those out there in a way that you're kind of setting contacts and you're aligning the universe with making those big goals come to fruition. So what are those big goals? And really kind of focus on what that looks like. And so take the time to go through these exercises and put those things on paper, get them out of their head, and I will see you on the next module. Bye-bye for now.